Welcome to Statesman.com and another edition of the High School Blitz. Rick, it's Monday. It's time to go over what we learned this past weekend. It was a pretty rainy weekend. We had to do a lot of rescheduling and working on Saturday, but it was all fun and we got to see a lot of good football. Let's talk about one thing we learned this past week. What did you learn?
I learned that you cannot teach an old dog new tricks. And I'm talking about Jerry Vance, the head coach at Liberty Hill, who I think has been there since the Kennedy assassination, maybe not that long, but a long time. Anyway, they never pass, or rarely pass. They've thrown 21 passes this year. They've got 95% of their offense this year has been by the run. So they passed the ball one time the other day. Guess what happened?
Was it intercepted?
It was intercepted. They throw one pass, it's picked off. Jerry, I know you've learned your lesson. Just keep the ball on the ground.
They still won, though, and they're running away with that district title.
They're a good team.
Game lead over Taylor with a game to go. You talked about running the ball. I'm going to talk about quarterbacks. So the District 14 6A coaches, whenever they meet to come up with their all-district team, they're going to have to get creative because they have a lot of good quarterbacks. And this past week, they showed them all off. Charlie Brewer against Bowie, 5 total touchdowns, over 300 passing yards. Brandon Ramos, his counterpart in that game, over 300 passing yards. Sam Ellinger on Saturday, he had 6 total touchdowns in the route of Del Valle, and that's not even talking about Bull Callbacker, who had 7 touchdown passes against Lehman on Thursday night, tied a school record. Austin High's been open since the 1800s, and so that's 4 good quarterbacks. How are you going to get them on the all-district team? Going to have to get creative. One will probably be the district MVP, and we'll go from there. But good quarterbacks in that district. Game ball.
I'm going to give my game ball to Dacius White. He's running back from Round Rock. Sensational year. He's been very consistent all year. 238 yards on the ground. 5 touchdowns against Westwood. He's a contender to be on our All-Centex team.
I'll stick with the running back theme. Tino DePaz. We haven't talked about him much at all this season because he's a freshman, so expect to hear his name a lot. Freshman over at McCallum. McCallum needed a win desperately this past week. They got one against Travis on Saturday, 48-20. And Tino rushed for 310 yards. We're used to seeing 300-yard performances from people like J.K. Dobbins and Travis Brandon, but Tino got one against Travis, scored 3 times. McCallum got the win to set up a really good showdown for the playoffs this week with Cedar Creek. So a big freshman stepping up and a little freshman stepping up at a big spot.
And I heard it was only his 2nd varsity game.
Yeah, actually had 2 touchdowns the week before against Reagan, so he has come on the scene. All right, those are our game balls. That's what we learned this week. Check back with us later in the week, and we'll be previewing Week 11.